Hey everybody, it's Informed the Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
And today we're doing RWBY Volume 2, Chapter 7, Dance Infiltration. Let's see. Last time we left off, we got to the start of the dance. The villain, Osmond said something inspiring, and
Then
The
the villains
villains
were
wa-
like, hey, we're here doing villain stuff.
yep.
Left on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to dive in if you are.
All right. Here we go.
There's a point where it tips, there's a point where it breaks, there's a point where it bends, and a point we just can't take anymore. There's a line that will cross and there's no return. There's a time and a place, no bridges left to burn anymore. We can't just wait with lives to take until they think we're ready. Our enemies are gathering, our storm is brewing. Now it's time to say goodbye to the days for love and the innocence again. All the time seems to fly, break every heart, and it's all a dead piece we always knew.
It already feels like a dating MMO.
I mean, it's functionally like college or high school dance. That's yeah.
See, she rolled her eyes, but she did it, which now I'm confused. I thought it was sarcastic before.
Because you still got to be polite.
Punch bowl too.
Mm.
Yep.
He is another headmaster.
To the socially awkward.
Sorry things didn't work out with Weiss.
Meh, it's fine. Neptune's pretty cool. I get why she went with him.
What do you mean?
Well, come on. Not many people can pull off blue hair.
No, I mean, Weiss came to the dance alone.
What?
Yeah, she said she had too much to focus on to worry about boys.
She looks like the drunk in the corner.
Weiss,
Yeah.
Mm.
The way she was just leaning over and playing with the
Oh,
the
flower.
flower. Yeah.
Punch.
Aw, here he's gonna come to her rescue, even though she really doesn't need it.
Mm.
And then he gets distracted.
Which way will he go?
It's that
Hey,
magnetism. She must have touched the plate in his head.
Sean.
You okay? I haven't seen you tonight.
Arrived late, I'm afraid.
Well, you look really nice.
Thank you.
Your, date isn't gonna beat me up for saying that, is he?
I think you're safe for tonight.
So, where is the guy?
There is no guy.
What?
Nobody asked me.
But that's... you're Pira Nikos. How could nobody ask you?
I've been blessed with incredible talents and opportunities. I'm constantly surrounded by love and praise. But when you're placed on a pedestal like that for so
It's very
long,
lonely.
you become separated from the people that put you there in the first place. Everyone assumes I'm too good for them, that I'm on a level they simply can't attain. It's become impossible to form any sort of meaningful relationship with people. That's what I like about you. When we met, you didn't even know my name. You treated me just like anyone else. And thanks to you,
Mhm.
I've made friendships that will last a lifetime. I guess you're the kind of guy I wish I was here with. Someone who just saw me for me.
That is as close as she's gotten thus far to just saying it already.
I think she did. Like,
Wait.
It's John.
Hey,
There's-
John, right?
There's a level of
Right.
implied.
Yeah.
in the back of his head,
Party's pretty
she
lame,
likes me
huh?
for
I
me.
mean, ballroom dancing.
Not because.
Yeah.
Cute girls, though, huh?
Is that all you think about?
Huh?
Do you even care about the girls you're hitting on? How they feel about you?
Whoa, where's this coming from?
How could you just turn her down like that?
Wait, who?
Weiss!
It just didn't work out, you know?
What? You think you're too cool? Too many other options? Weissney asked you to the dance. What in the world could possibly
He's gay.
keep you
He's
from
gay.
going?
He's gay.
Dance.
He's gay.
Beg your pardon.
I can't dance,
Oh.
man.
But you're so cool.
Thank you. I try really, really hard.
You would rather break a girl's heart and go to a dance alone than just admit to everyone that you can't move in rhythm to music?
That about sums it up, yeah.
Well, I certainly feel a lot better about myself.
Please don't tell anybody. Look, if you want wife,
Self-esteem for
she's all
everyone.
yours.
Yep.
I don't want to get in your way.
Do you like her?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know her too well yet, but she seems pretty cool.
Then just go talk to her. No pickup lines, no suave moves. Just be yourself.
Hindsight's 2020, yeah.
But that's the way to go.
Yeah, but that
Hey, you don't have to look cool all the time. In all honesty, if you could be a little less cool, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay,
Go talk to her. I guarantee it'll make her night.
thanks. You're a really cool guy, Jean.
All right, don't lie to my face.
Fist bump, because a handshake is still too hard to animate, yeah?
No, it's because they're men.
Only one
Yeah.
thing left to do.
Well, boys, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
You
hard to
know,
define when you're a teenager that
Yeah,
uses a
that
high-powered
is.
weapon to kill monsters.
Yeah. And you did a great job planning it too.
So how did Penny end up coming to this?
Well, she's there as an exchange
Boys did a
student,
lot too.
as an Atlas exchange student. That's her cover, if you will.
Yeah, her cover is great with armed guards 4 feet away.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's back to work. Well, I'm sure we can handle whatever gets thrown at us. Except for that.
Jean? Promise is a promise.
Sean, you didn't have to.
Hey, an arc never goes back on his word. Now, do you want to stand there and laugh at me? Or do you want to dance?
Respect. Hardcore respect.
Would love to dance.
Although, what is everybody now going to assume about,
Oh.
you know, she's hardcore.
I love this.
Wait, what is happening?
I love that Nora's like, oh my god, this is a thing, it's happening, and and Ren is just completely oblivious.
Did she just go meta?
Yes, to a degree, yes.
Does she do that often?
The show in general does not go meta often.
I had no idea you were a dancer.
Yeah, well, these things tend to happen when you grow up with 7 sisters.
Big family.
Oh, it's funny. Oh, it's funny. Sisters, and he's the only boy. He's the
What
chosen
made you change your
one.
mind?
Huh?
You said you were embarrassed at first. What made you come talk to me?
You're looking at him. You've got some good friends looking out for you.
So unless this ends in an explosion,
Penny is doing the robot, which I love.
Of course she is.
Here's all the dancers
She's
have
petty.
partners.
How long do I have?
We should probably be home by midnight to be safe.
I'll keep my eye on the clock.
yeah, because how does a middle school kid hang out with a bunch of college kids? Who do you dance with who isn't weirded out by it? In heels, no less. Impressive. I think running in heels is more impressive than the Naruto run. I don't
Hey,
care.
look, something more interesting than the dance.
He's checking his Facebook right now and nobody realizes it. oh shit! I liked her profile.
Excuse me. No one's allowed in this
She
area.
looks like a thief, dude. What kind of mall cop security are you? Sinbad. Yeah. Her name is Cinder. That doesn't mean it has to be Cinderella. She's in heels.
I think this is the first time we've actually seen her
It's beacon.
fight,
We'll replace
too.
the E with a 3 and add a pound symbol to the end.
It's the first time you've seen her pull out the swords. Do actual melee.
What do we
combat.
do? Okay, I take back what I said about mall security. These are like NPCs in Mario. Does the school pay for all of the landing sites?
Probably.
Well, they have Glinda. Glinda just
They just
puts
send
shit back
Glenda
together.
out every time. to
Anytime
repair
anybody breaks
shit.
anything, Glinda just puts it back together with her.
No wonders Glenda hates her job.
A party guest is leaving.
Which one? Ironwood.
I guess the generals had enough fun for one night.
Should we intervene?
No. We're done here.
Swipe or no swiping?
Kind of surprised that
Hello?
you. I mean, I'd never realized that the cocking mechanism. Take them off. Take them off. Take them off. Come on, you just fumbled in shoes. You know you're not going to be able to fight like her. Take them off. Get into battle mode.
Hello?
But I just realized that she holds the cocking
bolt.
mechanism.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
She holds it the way you would hold
You
a
know,
sickle.
it's
So
not
it's
a
like
masquerade party.
A
So why
proper
don't you
site.
take
Yeah.
on that?
Proper farming site.
it's a bow and swords. He's not surprised. She can open doors?
No, this is her escape route.
Oh, may I cut in?
Of course.
And how's your night been?
A little more exciting than expected.
Should we be worried?
Hardly. They'll be scratching their heads long after we've finished what we came here for.
So then what now?
Enjoy the rest of the night. After all, it is a party.
So is there a thing there, or are they just debriefing?
Villain's gonna vill.
Dude, yes, rock the chucks. Rock the chucks. I don't know. Maybe you should check that way. He seems way too calm about that whole thing.
All right. That was Dance Infiltration.
It seemed like a lot more of just. Well, it seemed more like a night off for the characters and once again, just like the last episode, it ended with a cliffhanger of, but what?
Well, yeah, I mean, most of it was a character moment with them at the dance and some character work, and then we ended with villain stuff.
Right.
So, the main characters are just chilling. Meanwhile, the villains are actually, like, busy doing stuff.
Villain's gonna vil.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough content as far as the villainy going that I can really change my
opinions yet.
Yeah, it doesn't really change any of like my projections of where I think this is going.
Cool. Okay.
But it is nice to see that there's a level of, I don't want to say humility within the characters, but it's nice to see that the creators also add in the don't forget they're still students.
Right.
They may be going around killing monsters with extremely lethal weapons, but they are still 17.
Right.
Or 15 in Ruby's case. So it's still a thing.
This also makes me think that Ruby might be somewhere on a whole nother level because all she thinks about is get it. Like, so she's at the dance and she's like, I am pretty. I just.
Okay,
oh,
to
look,
be
something
fair,
to shoot. Let me go look over
she's
there.
2 years younger than all the boys there.
And I made that point.
Like,
I did.
Well,
but even though she's not dancing with any of her friends, I couldn't help but notice her sister was nowhere around.
She was hanging out with her shadow friends.
Yeah. Was she in this when she in one of the shots with Yang? Or
She may
Blake?
have been in one of the background shots.
I don't think
didn't
she had
pick
a
up
single
on her,
line,
but
though.
No, she didn't have a line. Nor
definitely
did Blake.
didn't have a line.
But they
Blake,
made it a
but they
point
were
to
there.
show Blake.
Oh,
I
you know what?
never
No,
saw-
Yang has that conversation with Ruby up on the balcony right before Jean walks in with a dress.
That's
She
right.
says we can handle anything
Yeah,
except
okay.
that. All right. Starting from the top, we start out with John and Ruby both commiserating his mutual wallflowers.
Yep.
By the punch bowl.
Yep.
At
As
which-
expected.
Yep. And then John finds out that Weiss did not, in fact, actually go to the dance with Neptune because he said no, which pisses John off. So he's going to go storm off and do the disgruntled
His
would-be boyfriend
his
thing.
heart's in the right place with
Yeah.
that, I think. To see how he executed it, it definitely looked like he was going to have a fumble, and it just kind of worked out in his favor.
Yeah, because he saw Pyrrha looking kind of mopey. and
There was a moment where he had to think about which girl to follow.
And he made the right choice. He went to talk to Pyrrha.
Well, we think so.
Well, I think on an emotional level, it's just friend.
Oh, she was better for him
I'm
anyways.
mad
but-
I'm mad at him for being
Yeah.
mean to the girl I like, and friend of mine who's currently dealing with something. Obviously,
Yeah.
it makes sense to So he goes and he has the conversation with Pyrrha, and it plays out pretty much like we talked about before. The idea that she doesn't have a date because she's a celebrity and nobody wants to dares to ask the famous person out.
On the totem. Or on a pillar. Podium. Whatever. Edifice.
Podium,
pillar, but
Yeah.
Yep.
pedestal.
right.
Pedestal.
That's
That's the word they
Pedestal's
use.
the word she
Sometime-
uses.
There we go. We remember words. We remember words.
I would, a stage. I would even go
sometimes.
so far as like a well-built deck.
A veranda.
Ooh.
Just don't get attacked by the gazebo.
It's a neutral gazebo.
Anyways, but yeah, since she kind of, like you made the point, most people in that situation would read that scene as her at least loosely admitting her feelings for him on some level.
I think she said it in a way. She's like, I'm going to put this in simple terms without just handing it to you. Because if you're too dumb to realize what I'm saying, there is no hope.
Except that we all know that John is too dumb.
But he's not. I don't think so. Because he has he just kind of, he's left pondering. He's
And
left
then-
with a quizzical face.
Yeah, well, because he turns around to say something to her, but then Neptune shows up.
Yep.
And starts just trying to be cool, at which point John gets pissy at him and starts yelling. Presumably has the conversation he was going to have beforehand.
Right.
And we find out Neptune can't dance. Which, like,
Yeah. And
okay,
then
but
I did like how when they showed him actually dancing at the end of the episode, he was dancing poorly.
yeah. Mm-hmm. But and I will say, I like that John has that reaction of, well, that's how you look at it. Well, shit, I feel better about myself now. Nothing helps the self-esteem more than someone with less of it.
Yeah.
But as sad as that is,
Schadenfreude.
yeah. So the two of them kind of have a bro moment where they kind of acknowledge. I don't know if you call that like game acknowledging game or just sign a mutual respect or what label you'd put
all
on
of
it.
the above. All of the above.
Yeah. At which point,
Acknowledging they've both been idiots about this whole thing. Yeah. It happens.
yeah. I mean, because I like the dynamic because you got Neptune who comes off on the surface as this really chill, slick ladies' man, and then you get this moment where he breaks you get through the shell, and he's just really, really self-conscious and nervous and all that. And then John, who's been kind of a putz and a just complete mess when it comes to these sorts of things up to this point, has this moment of wisdom and maturity. Which is just I like the dynamic where you kind of flip it like that, and he just has this character moment where.
Yeah.
I like how when he tells him, no cheesy pickup lines, no songs, no that. He's just listing the shit that he was doing with Weiss that was going wrong.
Well, what he's also doing is he's quoting Pyrrha. He's
That
taking
too.
Pyrrha's advice to him and giving it back to Neptune.
That too.
If it's that
So-
good,
So, and then of course he decides he needs to. There's something he needs to do because he did make a promise.
Yep.
It was in a joke, but he did promise if she didn't show up with a date, he'd wear a dress.
And you know what? She needed that laugh.
Yeah,
That turned her night around.
She also strikes me as the kind of girl who needs a guy soft enough to still look good in a dress.
I dig it.
Although I will say, dude is ripped.
Oh,
The dude is ripped.
Don't get me wrong, every guy in this is cut. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, they're still teenagers. Their metabolisms haven't slowed down
And
yet.
they are training to be fighters, so it's it's a very physical,
Very
course
physical
of training.
job every day.
But they're lean. All of them are lean. Real lean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we get that, and we get the two of them finally dancing. At which point Nora has the semi-meta moment where
It's about to happen.
it's about to happen. All the fandoms just going, "Oh my god, it's finally happening!" And Ren, of course, is totally oblivious, which is just
Except
which
Ren
makes
ends up
sense.
dancing with them, so I mean.
Well, but it also makes sense that he's oblivious about this because he's also oblivious about the fact that the girl he spent an inordinately large amount of time with is completely head over heels for him, and everybody else gets it, but he don't. So
Is he?
That's
Who-
the anime trope.
Is he Loki? Who is he?
No,
again?
we talked about
I
this.
don't
We talked about this. It was off screen. He's the one person you kept guessing for everybody else, and then it turned out to be he's Mulan. He's a gender bent version of Mulan.
He's Mulan. Got it.
Because everyone on their team is a gender bent version of their illusions.
Yeah.
Oh.
And very specifically a character who in their mythology disguised themselves at some point as a member of the opposite sex. Hence Mulan.
Yep.
So, but yeah, and I do. I like this moment. I think a lot of people like this moment because this is kind of a point where a lot of people's opinions about Jean start to turn around a little.
Well, he's starting to
100%
grow up
thought-
finally.
Yeah, he's starting to show a little responsibility, a little maturity. Up to this point, he's been a kind of almost a douche to a certain extent when he's like hitting on Weiss and all that. It's just kind of like, come on,
Juvenile,
dude.
yeah.
Juvenile. That's a good word for it. Just like, come on, dude. And here he finally kind of.
I legitimately thought Neptune was going to be like, well, I said no to her because I was hoping to ask you.
Well, I know
Those shippers are out there.
That is a common.
It looked
thought
like it
people
was
have.
I
leading
dig
up
it.
to that. I like hanging out with you. I think you're super cool.
Yeah.
I turned down the girl that said no to you because I was hoping to just ask you.
Yeah. Although when you think about it, like it'd be a really convoluted thing because he does spend all his time hitting on women, and then all of a sudden, the minute one
It's a
actually asks
pretty
him
obvious
out,
cover.
he suddenly doesn't want to go to a dance with her. Like because I would figure like now if she wants to like take him back to the apartment and he's secretly gay, I would figure that's the line where all of a sudden he thinks, oh, I got to start making excuses. Just going
Hey,
to
when
the
you're
dance
that far
though.
in the closet, you do some crazy shit.
Well, I was thinking less that deep and more just, I don't want to go to a dance with her. I want to go to a dance with him. So
Yeah.
if I say yes to going with her, I still can't go with. I can't ask him to go.
Okay.
And that's
way-
not in the
Alright.
closet at all. That's quite outside the closet.
Yeah,
Right,
which
but he's from a different school, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
so far this show has touched on, like a racial issue and a racial acceptance, and hey, we know who you want. You're hiding yourself. We accept you as your friends. You don't have to be sad. They've covered on depression. I
The
just
recovered terrorist
Right.
plot.
I just assumed that having a gay character or
Yeah.
2 or 3
Well, 'cause I will say that-
would be totally normal.
well, there are gay characters in this show.
Oh, it's shocking.
Yeah.
I just figured that.
And and I will also say they have said, lore-wise, homophobia does not exist in the world around that. So the idea of being in the closet
It's just
really
not
isn't
a thing.
is not a thing in their world, because the idea that he would want to ask John out would not bother anybody beyond the fact that it's John.
They have bigger issues than who do you
Yeah.
want to care about deeply.
Just like skin color based racism. What is racism in our world doesn't exist.
It's a
purely
xenophobia.
fauna based. Yeah.
Yeah.
So white characters and black characters. That's not a thing.
Yeah,
they
that's
distinguish.
been evident.
It's very much no. Oh, you have cat ears on top of your head. Ew, get out of my sight. That's where the bulk of the
That's where the line in the
discrimination
sand is
and
drawn.
and other declaring comes in.
Gotcha.
Along with some, eventually there's some nationalist issues between the various kingdoms.
But we'll get to
But
that.
that's down the line. All right, then we had John Neptune, John in a dress, which I want to know, where did he bring that dress with him to the dance just in case? Did he have it ready, or did he like go off somewhere and steal a dress from somebody? Well, so there's some poor girl in a corner just
That's why
in a-
Yang isn't there.
in
She's
a
standing outside in
in her
his
underwear,
suit.
and it's like
I'm willing to throw out there that it is a high school, and if it's a high school, they probably have a drama club, and if they have a drama club,
They have a costume
they
room.
got a costume.
costume.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay,
most
I guess
high
that makes
schools,
sense.
at least like modern high schools now, generally have a program for like if you can't afford the $1,200 dress for prom, we have
Mm-hmm.
like it's like a Cinderella's closet kind of program
Yeah.
where you can buy lightly used prom dresses from previous years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
guess that makes sense.
I would say Lost and Found or
Plus, like you
Could
said,
be.
he grew up with 7 sisters. You think he wasn't prepared for this?
and it was very simple. It was probably something that he just wrapped around himself and tied a bow.
Or maybe it's just something he has in his closet on a regular basis.
Exactly. You think he
We don't
wasn't
know.
prepared for this?
We don't know.
He's so used to making this bet that it means absolutely nothing to him, but everybody else is like, "Oh, deal." He's like, "Pfft, "Whatever, it's my size.
His
My
secret-
sister made it for me."
His secret second character or illusion is J. Edgar Hoover.
I don't follow.
J. Edgar Hoover. At least I don't know how confirmed they are. There were always rumors that he was a
Old director
cross-dresser.
of the FBI and
Oh.
was
And this was like back in the 60s, so
rumored
this was a
to be
big
an active
thing
cross-dresser.
to keep hidden back in the day. That's always been a thing that he's been notorious or notable for, is that he was probably a cross-dresser.
If
But
that's something you guys would like to hear, definitely check out their podcast.
J. Edgar Hoover is a good topic. That is a meaty topic for a podcast. And Nick would really be into that, I think. Then we have we got a little quick scene between Weiss and Neptune when
Yep.
he finally goes over and talks to her, and I just like this little moment where, because he tells her who gave him the confidence to go talk, and he points out John, and she has just this subtle little look on her face where she kind of looks at him and she smiles a little, and then she almost frowns a little, like she's a little disappointed in herself for kind of
Not seeing it.
underestimating.
I would
a
say that's
little,
a decent interpretation of it.
which I thought was a nice little.
She definitely pauses and makes a face there, and that's how
Yeah.
I've always read it.
It's one of those little things, those little details, subtle details that I like, that I think adds to the
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but it's just that little subtle thing that adds a nice little
Yeah, like I
moment.
said, the facial expressions are slowly starting to build.
Oh, dude, when they go to the Maya engine, it just gets even better. Dude, when they go to the Maya engine and
Don't spoil now.
Blake's ears.
We
All I'm going
will
to say is
talk
Blake's
about
ears.
that stuff
Blake's
when
ears.
it
That's all I'm going to
happens.
say is Blake's ears. But then we get the stuff with the villains. Because we see Cinder is getting ready to sneak into the CCT tower.
She snuck into. She
Into.
eventually does it, and it was very easy.
Yeah.
The whatever security was there, I
Soldiers, yeah.
suddenly, I think I overestimated the power of the army that's there. They're
Were those
probably-
guys supposed to be the Atlas military?
Yeah,
Those guys are the Atlas military.
Yeah, they're going to be
yes.
taken over by Ruby and her team, or hell, they might even be taken over by Team Coffee.
I mean,
I haven't even
admittedly-
seen Team Coffee. I just know that they have the bunny chick on there.
Yeah.
That's it. That bunny chick is going to be able to take out this army.
But yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like it's
What?
they're guarding a public utility building in the middle
Nobody-
of a dance.
so
It's like
if you
they're not
have-
expecting somebody to come charging in there with
She
weapons.
didn't-
Also,
and
they
shit.
were just the guys. They weren't the battle robot thing.
There are guys with guns, and they were immediately when it came to Penny. They were scanning. Look, there she is. Super reactionary.
Well, that's because they recognize Penny and they're looking for her.
They walked it. You're supposed to look for anybody who shouldn't be in this building. And here some
All right.
woman comes in
A
a
chick in
masked
a
like
dominatrix
Catwoman, and they're just like,
outfit.
Admittedly,
wait a
look at a lot of
minute.
the outfits the characters wear when they're in combat, their normal combat outfits.
Just
the idea
look
that
at
she's
some of
just
the
we-
teachers,
the idea that
Glenda.
she's just wearing that isn't necessarily.
the elevator door opens up. Two guys on patrol see their entire floor's worth of guys in a pile over there. Look back at a woman and go, and let the door close so she can just get them.
Yeah, they're just in shock for a minute. They don't know she's the one that did that. For
So
all they know,
imagine
for all they
a-
know, she's running from the person who did it.
Except she's walking slowly, probably smiling.
True, which is
Armed.
why it's just like.
Also,
What?
Imagine a crying bunny coming at you casting magic with something that turns into a gun. They're probably going to be equally as shocked and therefore a useless military force.
Oh.
No wonder he needed so many. He brought enough to make the opponent run out of bullets. They're like clone troopers. They're just there to eat the heat until you overwhelm them.
Mm.
They can't fight, but they can. Enough of them die in a row, and we suddenly have a wall.
You know, I mean, you can say they're grunts, they're new guys. They're guarding a.
They were color coded.
They're guarding what is ostensibly, a public utility building. It's not. I mean, well, it is a high value target, but it's not something people will be. And remember, there is no. As far as they know, there's no threat. They don't know there's anything going on. For all they know, she's just somebody who came into the building to make a late night phone call and didn't realize the building was closed.
True. I'm just saying.
I like to think they were rent-a-cops.
Yeah.
They're wearing the armor, but they're part-timers.
See, I compared them to mall cops until I saw how easily they were taken down and how little of a fight they put up, and now they're less than. They're like people who like to dress up and play like airsoft, but then show up to places pretending like they are the armed forces with their guns.
Yeah. Well, or you can say they're new recruits, or I'll say to you, Bill, because you'll get this. At the beginning of Volume 6, the two huntsmen on the train.
Spoilers.
That's why you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those guys. And those guys are trained huntsmen. So.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But, just because you have great combat ability doesn't necessarily mean you've got to working with a full deck upstairs.
Fair enough.
True. Enough. But, anyways.
Plus, Atlas military always feels like they threw money and tech at you. I mean, the person inside the tech really doesn't have to matter too much because they got the best armor and tech.
I will say there is an argument to be made, especially later on, that Atlas is that they are so self-confident in their own technology that the basic training they give their soldiers and all that
Is practically
is
non-existent.
lacking because they're over dependent on the technology. If you're familiar with early U.S. air operations in the Vietnam War, they had a problem with pilots getting shot down way more than they expected them to because they were becoming over-reliant on the new missiles, and they lost their ability to dogfight, which is where the Top Gun program came from.
Got you.
To reteach pilots how to dogfight.
Also, you can find that on the podcast. He's a World War II kind of guy.
Yeah. But, again, that's another good topic. The Top Gun program, we could talk about that. That's an interesting thing. But
and maybe one day we will.
Yeah, that's a good solid topic that it would be one of the topics we talk about that has no controversy attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Nick will find a way somehow.
Let's Ruby this,
But,
Ruby.
Yeah. So Cinder breaks in. She gets into the elevator.
Which is
I think
about the time Ruby shows up after.
Ruby decides to leave the party early because
They have a very minor fight. You get to
Yeah.
see her use her gun a few times in a few close quarter means.
we see the purpose of the rocket-propelled lockers
Yep.
come into play there.
Yep.
Well, they were described before.
Yeah.
This is just the first time we're actually
Seeing
seeing it in
Yeah,
use.
why would you need to send a weapons locker somewhere? Oh, that's why.
I mean, it
Because
makes sense.
sometimes you're not at school.
Yeah, sometimes you're not. Well, technically, she was actually at school. She was on the campus, but sometimes you're not. You don't have your weapon, and you need your weapon in a situation, and that's a
That'd be
quick
So
way
way
to
to
get
know
it,
when she
So
called
the-
for it. She was outside the CDC tower.
which is on the campus.
The phone tower's on
Really?
campus?
Ospin's office is at the top of the CCT tower.
Huh. For some reason, I thought it was on top of the school. I thought the tower was something they had to go like into town
No,
for.
the CCT towers are part of the campuses.
Oh,
the academy
okay.
campuses. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense since it's the Hunter schools tying everything together. Academies.
Yeah, like Bill pointed out, we see Cinder fighting a little more here. Before we only ever started like doing kind of ranged attacks. Here she actually does some melee stuff.
Yeah,
She's
she
got some
uses-
Well, I
martial
think
arts.
the
seems to
only
be-
thing we've seen her up to this point is on the helicopter thing when she,
Yeah.
what was it, shoot fire or whatever?
She would shoot the fire blasts. She deflected some shots, and she did the thing where she caused the ground under her opponent to explode. And then here we have she kind of conjures these blades out of, not necessarily out of thin air, but it looks like there's all of a sudden you see a flash of like dust or of some sort, or powder, or, and then it congeals into blades, and she uses those, and then they can turn into a bow.
Right.
And did you notice her clothing?
It's a black dress.
Well, during the fight,
No.
it lights up.
Well, she lights up. She's constantly got that glowy shit around her. It's
Yeah,
in the
well,
intro. So I thought you
well-
meant like,
well,
did something else happen to her dress aside from what's happened to other outfits?
the
Well,
thing he's trying to lead
specifically-
you to, do you remember the dust video and the ways they use dust?
Well, yeah, but that's not the same question. I was going to mention the fact that she seems to be one of those raw dust users that use it in pure element form,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Well, and in her clothes.
That was
Okay.
the bits of her clothes lighting up, was the dust woven into her outfit.
okay, well, they didn't really. I mean, they showed
It's-
some of that, but they didn't really
it's
go too in
it's something you
depth
have
into
to
it.
catch when you see it, and
Yeah,
then
it was
you
so
only
it was
watch
so
once.
subtle that it was another one of those things that until they go into depth with it, I can assume everything and get nowhere. So I
Yeah.
didn't really have any. It didn't jump out to me as hard. Her clothes glow.
Yeah,
But
well,
it stayed
because
the
also
same.
she does that thing at the end where she kind of like does the thing like that over herself,
And she
then
changes her
the
clothes
dust
again.
and her outfit changes.
Yep.
So, because we saw her in the earlier episode sewing something, so that was her making her combat /
Prom
event
dress, or
dress,
whatever
yeah.
it dress. Yeah.
so that she can just immediately blend in.
Which is a
And
pretty
hide.
cool power.
Yeah. I would say so.
But as far as what she was doing,
Hell, to
she-
go from battle gear to formal wear, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but using magic, I mean, it's no more impressive than like Iron Man.
True.
Especially because they haven't really gone too in depth with it yet. It's
You're
oh,
out of the
Sorry about
cone.
that. Yeah, seeing as they haven't just gone too in depth with it yet, it's still too up in the air, too minor for me to really have any predictions on or comments.
Okay. Then we have what she actually did when she got there. She appeared to do something with the computer terminals.
She sent some kind of queen message or king. I couldn't tell which piece it was.
Because the image of it, she did a bunch of stuff on the computer. The image of the queen popped up on her terminal and then all the other terminals.
Yep.
And then went away. And then she got caught in a fight with RWBY real quick.
She escaped, made her way through, fought the really shitty guards, and then started dancing and debriefed Mercury.
Yep.
And then it ended.
The perfect getaway.
And she did indeed get out by midnight. Mercury, I think it was Emerald or Mercury said she should be out by midnight. And when you see the queen emblem on the clock, she did in fact get out by midnight.
Yep. Which I feel is just another nod to her persona.
Which is, I don't think we ever...
Cinderella.
Cinderella, yep. I believe that was one of your guesses, but it was like part of a variety of guesses.
They never really gave enough to her persona for me to really solidify it.
There's another hint, and it happens anytime she moves around.
That she's in heels.
More specific than that. What does it sound like when she walks through?
She didn't sound
heels?
like that when she was walking through the tower or when she was running across the roof.
Well, because she was in like stealth mode. But anytime she's walking around
she sounds like
normally,
she's walking around in heels, like glass slippers.
Glass. Her shoes are made of glass.
Yeah.
And that's been a thing since.
Like
you see her on the helicopter.
Obsidian.
Which volcano
Yeah.
glass.
Even when she's on the airship, if you're listening,
tink,
it sounds like
tink,
ting ting
tink,
ting.
tink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, if we've talked about the mark on her back.
How
the
her
middle of it looks
tattoo.
like a heart,
Mm-hmm.
which it does on the inside. But if you look, it's actually two separate pieces.
Right.
There's a gap. It's shoes.
I didn't notice it looking like shoes. I
It
tried
looks like
to look
a
for
pair
that.
of
I
shoes with their heels at the top, standing upright against each other.
didn't. When I saw it, it didn't look like shoes to me.
I believe.
Yeah, I've always missed that too.
I tried to remember where it was in here.
Anytime near the end where she's in the party dress and facing away from the screen. When she's walking into the party, you can see it real clear.
I think when she goes up to talk to her.
A little bit earlier when she's coming
Well,
through.
no, I'm waiting until when she comes up to that.
Oh, okay.
There it is, on the back.
Yeah, I guess those could be interpreted
how
as
it's-
shoes.
I can see how
it's not a great
two
shot
heels.
of it, but yeah, it's because you can see how it's
Put
two separate
bottom to
pieces. and
bottom.
it's- yeah, the toes on the
Yeah.
bottom with the heels at the top.
I always just assumed it was
Yeah.
a stylized heart.
But yeah,
Yeah, she also seems to be very ordained in obsidian. So I agree with Bill.
yeah.
She's got earrings. Her dress looks like it's partially shattered as a detail down on the side there.
Yeah, because also that's her emblem, and the character emblems almost always tend to be something more directly referential to their character or
illusion.
their character illusion.
Got you, got you.
So the pair of slippers for Cinderella.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
Sweet. Let's just jump right into the next episode because I'm hungry for it now.
Because, like you said, kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger. Ironwood
It's an absolute cliffhanger.
Ironwood caught RWBY up there by herself. What does he
Yes,
think
you
she
know,
was
And
up there
at the
doing?
end, when she was sitting there with him
Supposedly
standing
by
over
herself,
her.
that is implying a lot. She just sat there sad, and that was the end of the scene.
Yeah, well,
So that's assuming a ton. She could be sad that her kill got away. She could be sad because any number of reasons. They didn't go into it at all.
And while we're going to jump into the next episode real quick here, you guys will catch us next time.
oh, we do have one more thing
Oh,
beforehand.
yes.
We got a
There's
little
one more
surpri-
thing.
we have a
You need
little-
to close your eyes for a second because it'll
I got to
pop
load
up
this
with a
up.
spoiler.
We got a little surprise for you
But-
that I thought of today. That I forgot this existed until we're going to record, and I want to show it. And anybody at home who's seen this, you know exactly what this is. All right. Here we go.
And you're good.
And go ahead.
So this is just alternate takes on that.
This
dance
is alternate
This
takes
is
on the
this
dance.
is
Oh,
alt
okay.
takes. Yes.
On the dance moves.
But why did I have to close my eyes for this? Why couldn't I just been prepared?
Well,
for
because
it?
when I pull up the video, it
Oh.
shows the image of what they're doing. I wanted it to be as much of a
Surprise
surprise as possible. So
No, because of the way the program works, they're basically just putting
Dropping the
the character
skins.
models on
Okay,
top
yeah.
of the moving pieces underneath.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was asking about this early on.
yeah, I do not remember at all how this came to be a thing,
Fan service.
but
Yeah, probably.
yeah, like why they thought yeah.
Goddamn Ironwood.
It also gives a lot away because it's the people who are inherently involved with one another.
Little bit. Although we already knew she knew Ironwood.
New, but why would they
Well.
be? See, like the guy in the end there, him and
Him and the
the
two
bull?
girls.
Well, it's just more of the
The
villains.
two girls work for him, and
Adam, as far as we
Adam
know,
hired
has
them
no.
on at least once.
No, he didn't.
Adam
Adam hasn't done anything since the trailer. At
Or
this
no,
point.
I'm sorry. That was
was
Torchwick
Torchwick.
that hired them in.
Yeah, I love this. I love the Grimm, just dancing Grimm.
That is pretty great.
I appreciate the fact that they didn't do anything absurd with the boar. Like the fact that the bird is still not or isn't flapping the whole time.
Yeah.
I like that. I think had they stood the boar up on two legs, it would have been too much.
The bigger Grimm actually are following the dance moves pretty good for what
Yeah.
they are.
Well, 'cause
like,
the
for the
bigger-
limitations of what their characters can actually do with the moving piece. I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It was fun.
It's just a nice little fun thing. All right, and that will be it for this episode.
All right.
So, yeah, if you guys like what we're doing here, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, bell for notifications. You can follow us on Twitter at InfoConfused, and you can find our podcast on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Spotify. We have been Informed and Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
See you later.